Hello pickles, peaches, puddings and pears. Let me ask you a question. Are you someone who's interested in having more excellent, great ideas? If you're a creator, a writer, or you just work in a space where you have to produce new work, maybe you're a scientist, maybe you work in technology, everyone knows that new, incredible ideas can change the world, can change your entire life, and so it stands to reason that we want to have more of them. I read a book called Originals by Adam Grant, and this is a book I really love. I think it's a practical, well-researched, scientific look at what goes into the mysterious process of producing great original ideas. So let me share with you 3 great tips from this book that I picked up. Number 1, to have great ideas, you have to kiss a lot of frogs. What Adam Grant talks about is the fact that just having a great idea is actually a direct function of having a lot of ideas. Because what he says is original thinkers don't necessarily know what their great ideas are. So even if you are a genius like a Beethoven or a Mozart, you don't actually know when you've made a masterpiece, at least not every time. And a lot of creators have probably had this before, when the thing that struck gold for you, yes, sometimes you get that feeling in your gut like, oh, this is big, this is great. But sometimes it's just a freak accident and you don't know, and you don't realize that thing was going to do so well. So you need to spray a lot out there. You need to spray a lot of ideas either out in the world or on the page to get to the gold in the first place. Picasso's oeuvre, he says, includes more than 1,800 paintings, 1,200 sculptures, 2,800 ceramics and 12,000 drawings, not to mention prints, rugs and tapestries, only a fraction of which have garnered acclaim. So it stands to reason that if you want to produce great work, you've got to kiss a lot of frogs. Tip number 2 is to have some job security. Now, this doesn't mean you have to get a full-time position in something you don't like just so you can do your art, but Adam Grant makes a very powerful case for the idea of having a bedrock of stability in your life, whether it's financial stability so that you can basically pay the bills and take care of yourself, or having a routine, having certain everyday things that you know are going to be there, your environment, a comfortable environment, so that you can be daring and original and risk-taking in your work. So then you can produce more interesting original stuff by pushing the boundaries, because you don't have to just work to please people to make sure you're going to be able to pay the bills and keep the lights on. You don't have to do things always just to please an audience. And to quote from the book here, he says, "By covering our bases financially, we escape the pressure to publish half-baked books, sell shoddy art, or launch untested businesses." So yeah, I really like that. And it kind of fits in with this idea to me of, if you do want to do something original and artistic or innovative, you know, a business, something daring, it does help to kind of build the bridge across to it, rather than the very, you know, romantic myth is I'm going to burn all the bridges and stake it all and bet the farm on this new daring thing. But if you're just going to quit your job and become a full-time writer tomorrow, that is a ill-advised risk in a lot of people's eyes, and they think you probably want to test this is going to work first, or you probably want to test if this actually jibes with people, if what you're writing actually has some resonance. So it does pay to have this security, so then you can really put yourself fully into the work and go for it all the way and not have to compromise. Tip number 3 for producing great ideas is to have an experimental approach through your entire life. So he talks about Da Vinci, who is known for producing masterworks well into his middle age and 40s and 50s and beyond. The Mona Lisa and The Last Supper, those came quite late in his oeuvre. And Da Vinci was known for pulling all these insights from other fields. He was learning about science, and he learned about perspective and architecture and all these things where he was able to bring them in. His studies of light contributed to the innovation he made in painting. And so he kept a lifelong experimental approach. And I often think of pop stars like your Bowies or Prince or Madonna, people who were very conscious about reinventing themselves over and over again and changing their entire sound, their identity, throwing away the old and saying, now we're going to step in a radical new direction and potentially alienate the old fans, the old stuff, to do something fresh this time. And those artists tend to have a very long career because they seem to go through many stages. Whereas the artists who just repeat themselves for 5 albums, you do sort of see this petering out and leveling down where things get a bit stale after a while. So, let me know what your favourite of these tips is in the comments, and if you stick around, I'll keep experimenting. Bye bye.